Robo for Sin and Sci-Fi here. I'm familiar with iMP Volume 1, Number 1 from 1962 that was in the late Greg Javer's collection, as he had photographed it for me a few years ago. He was tickled at the Rags title, but when it arrived, a bit peeved that half the stories aren't credited, and we still weren't finding Ed Wood like the true crime writer John Gilmore, himself a France novel writer, had promised us in his memoirs. His daughter, John Gilmore's daughter, described him to me as being full of baloney, so maybe Wood wasn't even there. We know Jim Harmon wrote 3 novels at France. This is one of them. With assistance on one, not that one, and more on that fella to come. And here he is in this ish. Having written many sci-fi shorts like The Confidence Game and Galaxy Science Fiction, Volume 14, Number 2, June 1957, Harmon was no stranger to science fiction. His story in this slick is called They Were Ready. Here's an overview. There are several people who are snowed in a diner at midnight. On the radio, there's a report of a deranged man having escaped an institution. Suspicion fills the room, and for good reason. Look for other videos on this channel about Jim. Howard Norman wrote The Space Problem. There's a known author by this name, but he would have been too young to have written this. Is the pseudonym a nod to the free jazz trumpeter Norman Howard? We'll never know. But we do know that Feist, Klein, and Smith are in the space lab of Project Mars. They postpone drinks at the blast-off as they have forgotten to solve one last problem, the sex factor. They conclude that girly magazines in the rocket will not suffice, nor drugs suppressing an astronaut's libido. So they wonder if they need to nix one of the male astronauts and sub in a woman. Anything for a Friend is a well-written yarn by Larry Tritten. Larry Eugene Tritten was a San Francisco-based freelancer. From 1960, he got $100 for his first piece until his death in 2011. His work appeared in just about everything from The New Yorker to Reader's Digest. He was born in Iowa in 1938 and grew up in northern Idaho. His father, Pete Tritten, ran a series of taverns around the state. Larry's family consisted also of a mother and a brother, Dale. Larry served in Okinawa and went to junior college in Idaho when he returned. He married Theo Ann, and the two moved down to San Francisco, where via a scholarship he attended San Francisco State University, your host's alma mater, which was called San Francisco State College then. He lived in San Francisco the rest of his life. In Anything for a Friend, Leonard, an artist and beatnik, invites his friend from college, Brock, for a drink at his favorite San Francisco hang, the Clinic. Leonard's artwork is actually on the outside of the North Beach bar. Brock, a guy that wears a tie, is just across the bay in Oakland. They get smashed, and then Leonard reveals he's got it really bad for Joan, an oasis in a desert of greedy machine-made chicks, who after a wonderful week won't see him anymore. He needs Brock to come to his rescue, so Brock pays her a visit. It's reported that Larry wrote 1,500 published pieces for magazines ranging from shorts to articles, movie reviews, etc. I've even found Larry writing sci-fi. His first sci-fi story, West is West, was published in The World of If in August of 1968. The concept is a bit over the top. Imagine a cheap TV Western with duck-billed reptilian characters with names derivative of existing Western characters. One can easily find another sci-fi story called Raft online if interested. It said his influence, to name a few, were Harlan Ellison, Ray Bradbury, Robert A. Heinlein, and Jack Vance. Jack was also from the Bay Area. After Larry's passing, Harlan wrote, "I was enormously fond of Larry, of his humor, his goodwill, and sense of proudly being, as I am, a simple blue-collar artisan. I found Larry's work reprinted lately in Black Cat Weekly, an e-book by Wildside Press, the outfit that has reprinted Charles Newtall's Oeuvre, including his sole novel for France, and a couple of his new titles. Larry's story Playback, originally from 1979 in the magazine of fantasy and science fiction, appeared in Black Cat Weekly number 33 from 2022. It concerns a Hollywood Lothario and a demon. Another freelance writer who was influenced by Larry said that they were on a travel junket together, one of 50 that Larry took worldwide. He said Larry also wrote for a quarterly etymological journal. He constantly broke down words on the trip. For example, the word avocado comes from the Nahuatl word ahukatl, meaning testicle. Larry also wrote at least one other for France. Girl with a Past appeared in Gusto, Volume 1, Number 4 from 1963. See you next time, gang.